The night on the mining moon was colder than usual. Sharp winds moved through the metal streets, carrying dust and the smell of burning fuel. Most people were inside their warm cabins, but far away near the waste piles. Something small moved in the dark. It looked like a weak shadow at first, shaking and trying to stand. It was not a creature. It was a girl. She was an alien child, no more than 12 years old by human age. Her skin was pale blue, but cold and dirt had made it dull. Her thin arms wrapped around her body as she shook. She had no blanket, no family. No home to her name was Lyra, but no one there cared. Her alien family had thrown her away. Like trash, she tried to take one more step toward the supply docks. The lights were far, but they were the only lights she could see. Her bare feet trembled on the cold metal ground. Her breath made small white clouds. Her vision blurred. Her legs finally failed, and she collapsed beside the garbage containers. She whispered, not even sure if anyone could hear her. Please, someone, help. No answer came. The quiet night swallowed her voice. Lyra closed her eyes. She wanted to sleep, but she knew if she slept in this cold, she might never wake up again. Still, her body had no energy left. She curled into a small ball to protect herself from the wind. Then, footsteps, slow, heavy, careful. Lyra forced her eyes open a little, but everything looked blurry. A figure walked near the waste piles, holding a small light tool and orange beam scanning the ground. It was a human. His name was Jace. He worked as a repair engineer for the lower colony, someone who fixed broken vents, damaged drones, and old mining machines. He often took the long path home to avoid trouble. Tonight, he saw something strange from the corner of his Aja, faint glowing blue on the ground. He stopped. What is that? He whispered. He lifted his scanner and pointed it toward the shape. At first, he thought it was a damaged energy cell. But then the shape moved. The glowing blue light flickered again, as if reacting to his presence. Jay stepped closer. He wasn't scared, but he was confused. Then he saw her, a small alien girl, shaking, half buried in shadows. Her arms were thin like sticks. Her face looked tired, hopeless. Her skin had glowing lines, faint, soft markings that pulsed with a weak light. Jace had seen many alien races in the colony, but he had never seen markings like these. He crouched down. Hey, are you alive? He asked softly. Lyra tried to lift her head, but she barely managed to open her eyes. Please, don't leave, she whispered. Her voice was so weak it almost broke. Jace felt something tighten inside his chest. He knew suffering when he saw it. He slowly reached out, not touching her yet, just showing his hand so she wouldn't fear him. It's okay. I'm not here to hurt you, he said gently. Lyra flinched anyway. She expected pain. She expected shouting. She expected to be pushed away. That was all she knew. Jace ignored the cold wind and moved closer. You need help, he said. Come on, kid. I won't leave you out here. He carefully slid his arms under her. She was light to light, like she hadn't eaten in days. As he lifted her up, something unexpected happened. Her glowing marks became brighter. Not like light, but like they were responding to him. A warm pulse moved across her skin where his hands touched. Jace froze for a moment. What is this? He whispered. Lyra didn't know. She wasn't even fully awake. She leaned her head against his chest, her breathing weak but steady. Jace looked around. Nobody else was out here. Night guards wouldn't bother coming to the waste piles. He had two choices: walk away and pretend he saw nothing, or take her with him and risk trouble. He looked down at her small face. Her eyelashes were frozen. Her hands were shaking. But there was something else, something deeper. A strange sadness in her expression. like she had stopped believing she deserved to live. Jace tightened his hold. "All right," he said quietly. "You're coming with me." He stepped away from the waste piles, holding Lyra close so the wind wouldn't freeze her. As he walked through the dark path, the glowing marks on her skin pulsed again, this time brighter. Almost like her body understood she was finally safe. But Jace didn't notice something. A red scanner light followed his steps from above. A small surveillance drone hovered silently behind the metal crates. Its lens recorded everything: the glowing girl, the human carrying her, the strange energy coming from her skin. It sent a message back to the colony. Authorities: unidentified energy signature detected. Possible threat: track the human and the subject. Jace kept walking, unaware of the danger building around him. He only knew one thing: he had found a child left to die. And he wasn't going to abandon her. Not tonight. Not ever. Jace pushed open the old metal door of his workshop unit. The warm air inside met the cold night behind him. It wasn't a fancy place, just a small room filled with tools, wires, and half-fixed machines. But it was safe and warm. And for now, it was the only shelter the alien girl had. He gently placed Lyra on a soft blanket near the heating vent. Her shivering slowed a little as the warmth touched her skin. Her glowing markings flickered weakly, fading in and out like a tired heartbeat. Jace grabbed a small thermal cloth and wrapped it around her shoulders. "Here," he said quietly. "This should help." Lyra didn't respond. Her eyes were half closed. She looked like someone who had lost all hope long before she reached his arms. Jace hurried to the food shelf. He didn't have much, just a few nutrition packs and a small soup can he saved for late nights. He heated the soup quickly, then kneeled next to her again. "Try to eat," he said, holding the container in front of her. Lyra blinked slowly. She stared at the food like she didn't understand what it was. Then, with shaky hands, she reached out. Her fingers trembled. She pulled the bowl close and took small bites. The moment the warm soup touched her tongue, she began eating faster, like she was starving. Jace felt his heart shake a little. No child should eat like that. No one should be this hungry. He waited until she finished, then spoke softly. "What's your name?" She hesitated. Her voice trembled. "Lyra, that's a beautiful name," Jace said. Lyra looked confused, as if no one had ever said something kind to her. She tried to sit up, but she winced from the cold that still lingered in her bones. Jace placed a small cushion behind her back. "Easy. You're safe here." Her eyes widened. "Safe? With a human?" Jace raised an eyebrow. "What's wrong with a human?" Lyra lowered her gaze. "My family told me humans are dangerous. They said humans don't help anyone like me." Jace laughed a little. "Well, they're wrong." Lyra didn't smile. The glow on her skin dimmed again. Jace noticed it and leaned closer. "Lyra, what happened to you?" She pulled the blanket tight around herself. Her shoulders tensed. For a moment, she didn't speak at all. The room was quiet except for the soft hum of the heater. Then, in a broken whisper, she answered, "My family threw me out. They said I am cursed and useless." Jace froze. Her voice continued, fragile like glass. I glow, but not like them. My markings are wrong. They say my light brings trouble. They blame me for everything bad that happens. They said I should disappear." Jace clenched his jaw. Anger slowly built inside him, not at her, but at the people who abandoned her. "Lyra, nobody deserves that," he said firmly. Lyra hugged her knees. "They will come for me. They always do. They want to punish me if I escape." "You're not going back," Jace said immediately. Lyra looked up, surprised. "But you don't know me." "I don't need to," Jace replied. "I saw enough." Before Lyra could answer, a sudden noise echoed outside metal boots on the road. Jace stood up sharply. He moved to the window and peeked through the small, cracked corner. 2 colony guards walked past his street, shining their scanners around. One of them held a datapad, showing a red pulsing Dayton energy signature, the same one Lyra produced. Jace's heartbeat quickened. Damn, he walked back to Lyra. You need to stay quiet. Don't move. Lyra's eyes widened. Are they looking for me? Jace nodded. Probably, but they aren't getting in here. He quickly opened a storage compartment under his workbench. It was a small space used for holding tool crates, but big enough for a child to hide. Get in here for a moment, just until they pass. Lyra hesitated for only a second. Fear pushed her inside. Jace closed the compartment halfway, leaving a small gap for air. The heavy boots grew closer. The guards stopped right outside. Energy reading came from this area. One said, "Check the units." The other replied. Jace held his breath. Another second passed. Then another. Finally, the guards walked away. Jace opened the compartment. Lyra crawled out slowly. "They will keep searching," she whispered. "My glow. It is dangerous for you." Jace crouched beside her and placed a hand on her shoulder. "Lyra, listen to me. Your glow isn't the problem. The people who hurt you are the problem, and I won't let anyone take you back." Her glowing markings pulsed softly, like a small heartbeat of hope. For the first time, Lyra whispered something he never expected. "Why? Are you helping me?" Jace looked at her firmly. "Because you were alone. And because someone should have helped you long before I did." Outside, the guard's footsteps faded into the night. Inside, Lyra's light grew just a little brighter. The night grew quieter, but inside Jace's workshop, the air felt heavy. The guards were gone, yet Lyra still sat close to the heater, hugging her knees tightly. Her glowing markings were faint now, like a candle struggling to stay alive. Jace pulled up a small stool and sat across from her. "You don't have to tell me anything," he said softly. "But if you want to, I'm here." Lyra slowly lifted her head. Her eyes were filled with a sadness far too deep for a child. She took a shaky breath. "I was not always alone," she began. Jace nodded, encouraging her. "My family lived in the upper colony sector. They were respected, strong. Their markings were bright and beautiful. But mine..." She looked down at her dim lines. "Mine were always different." Jace studied the markings carefully. They didn't look wrong to him. They looked unique, almost like patterns made by nature itself. Lyra continued, voice trembling. "When I was younger, my glow was weak. Sometimes it flashed at strange times. My family said I was unstable. They said I would bring shame to the house." Jace's expression darkened. "Shame, because you shined differently." Lyra nodded slowly. "They believed my light attracted danger. When storms hit the colony, they blamed me. When machines failed, they blamed me. When crops died," she swallowed hard, "they said it was my fault." Jace clenched his fists. "That's not your fault. None of it." But Lyra wasn't done. She wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. "Last week, something happened. Something that made them throw me away for good." Jace leaned closer. "What happened?" Lyra's voice lowered to a whisper. "My glow changed. It became brighter. And painful. I didn't understand it. I couldn't control it. My family thought I would explode with energy. They were terrified." She looked up with wide, fearful eyes. "They called me cursed, dangerous, a mistake." Jace felt a burning anger grow inside him, not at her, but for her. "What did they do?" he asked carefully. Lyra's lips shook as she remembered. "They dragged me out of the house at night. They said I didn't belong. They pushed me into the cold and told me never to return. A tear rolled down her cheek. They said the colony would be better without me. Jace gently handed her a clean cloth to dry her tears. So, you wandered alone until you reached the waste piles, he said. Lyra nodded. I tried to go back once. Just once. I wanted to say sorry for something I didn't even understand. But they locked the door. They said if I came near again, they would call the soldiers. She wrapped her arms around herself as if trying to hold her breaking heart together. Jace exhaled slowly. You don't have to apologize for existing, Lyra. You hear me? You did nothing wrong. Lyra blinked at him. Her markings pulsed faintly like they were responding to his words. But Jace, she whispered, you saw the guards. They were scanning for me. If they find out you helped me, they will punish you too. Jace shrugged. I've been punished before. I can handle it. Lyra shook her head. No, they fear my glow. They think I will become dangerous. They think I will bring disaster. Jace leaned forward, eyes firm. Your family used fear to control you. That doesn't make it true. Lyra looked confused, almost lost. But why did my glow hurt so much? Why was it changing? Before Jace could answer, she suddenly grabbed her head and cried out, ah! Her markings flashed bright blue, racing across her arms and neck. She trembled violently. Jace jumped toward her. Lyra? What's happening? Her breaths came fast. I don't know. It hurts. It burns. Jace quickly scanned her with his tool. The reading shocked him. Her body was releasing controlled bioenergy, something rare, powerful, and unstable. But it wasn't a curse. It was evolution. Jace whispered in disbelief. Lyra? You're not breaking. You're changing. Lyra shook her head frantically. No, no. This is why they hated me. This power is wrong. It's not wrong, Jace said firmly, placing a steady hand on her shoulder. You're becoming something new. Something your family didn't understand. Lyra's glowing markings slowly settled, though her breathing remained shaky. She stared at him with fearful eyes. Jace, if they find me now, if they see this, they will kill me. Jace tightened his hold on her shoulder. No, he said, in a steady voice. They will not touch you. Not while I'm here. The workshop lights flickered. Outside, engines hummed, more soldiers patrolling the streets. Lyra's markings glowed again, but this time with a softer, warmer light. For the first time, she whispered something surprising. Something small but filled with hope. Thank you for not throwing me away. Jace looked at her gently. You're not trash. Lyra, you never were. But neither of them noticed the red scanner blinking outside the window, detecting a rising energy source. Someone else had found her. The workshop lights flickered again. This time, brighter and longer. Jace looked up at the ceiling, confused. The power generator rarely failed. But now the light shook like something heavy was pressing on the wires. Then he looked at Lyra. Her glowing markings were changing. Slowly. Gently, but clearly. The blue lines on her skin shifted into new patterns, like living rivers of light moving under her skin. Her eyes reflected panic as she tried to steady her breathing. Jace, what's happening to me? Jace reached for his scanning tool again, but his hands trembled. He had fixed machines, drones, wires, but never a living being with energy inside her. He knelt beside her and scanned the glowing lines carefully. The tool beeped wildly, flashing red warnings. Unknown bioenergy detected. Unstable light shift. High evolution probability. Jace swallowed hard. Evolution. That wasn't possible. Not like this. Lyra hugged herself, shivering even though she sat right next to the heater. I feel something inside. Moving, she whispered. It's like my bones are shaking, like something wants to come out. Her words made Jace's chest tighten. He had seen enough broken children in the colony orphans. Cast-outs workers treated like they were nothing. But Lyra? She wasn't just abandoned, she was changing. And no one had taught her what she was. Lyra. Jace said softly, listen to me. I don't think you're cursed. And I don't think this glow is dangerous the way your family said. Lyra shook her head quickly. No. They said I would bring destruction. They said my glow would ruin everything. They said I would cause storms, death, chaos. That's not you, Jace replied firmly. Lyra's voice cracked. But how do you know? I don't even know what I am. The tool beeped again, higher this time. Jace glanced at the small screen. Her energy flow was rising, faster, higher, hotter if it continued. Her body could collapse under the pressure. Jace grabbed a water bottle and pressed it into her hands. Drink, stay calm. Your heart is racing. Lyra took small sips, trembling every few seconds. Her markings pulsed brighter with each breath she took. Then she suddenly gasped. My vision? It's going dark. Jace grabbed her shoulders gently. Stay with me, Lyra. Focus on my voice. But Lyra's body shook harder. Her light burst in small flashes across her skin like sparks of lightning. I can't stop it. Her breathing turned sharp and painful. She clutched her head and cried out, Jace, make it stop. He held her steady, voice firm but gentle. Lyra, listen. Your body isn't breaking. You're evolving. It's something powerful, something rare. Lyra whimpered. Then why does it hurt so much? Because evolution is never easy, he said. Machines break before becoming stronger. Metal must melt before it reshapes. Maybe your body is trying to become what it's meant to be. Lyra stared at him with terrified eyes. What am I meant to be? Jace shook his head slowly. I don't know yet. But I know you're not a monster. Lyra looked at her glowing hands. I am afraid I will hurt you. Jace leaned closer. You won't. Before Lyra could answer, a loud ping echoed from the workshop's main terminal. A red warning flashed on the screen. External scanner lock detected. Energy surge targeted. Authorities alerted. Jace's heart dropped. No. No, this can't be happening now. Lyra panicked. They found me. Jace stepped to the window, lifting the corner of the old curtain. Outside, he spotted small hovering drone silver spheres with red lenses sweeping across the street. One of them stopped directly in front of his workshop. Its red light pulsed like an angry heartbeat. They're tracking your energy spike, Jace whispered. Your glow. It's too bright now. They think something dangerous is inside. Lyra shook with terror. Jace. They'll take me. They always do. They will lock me up. They will test me. I can't go back. Jace returned to her and knelt down. You won't. I'll get you out before they break in. Lyra stared at him, confused and scared. Why? Why do you risk everything for me? Jace placed his hand on her shoulder again. Because no one else ever did. Because someone should have helped you long before tonight. And because you deserve a chance to live, not just survive. Lyra's markings glowed softly under his touch. A fragile warmth, a small trust. Before either of them could speak again, a hard metallic voice shouted from outside the door. Open the unit. You are harboring an unregistered energy source. Lyra jumped. Jace looked at the door, then at her. Lyra, it's time to leave. Now. Her markings flared bright this time, not in fear, but in determination. The workshop door shook under the soldier's fists. Bang. Bang, bang. Open the unit immediately. Jace's heart hammered in his chest. He turned to Lyra, whose glowing markings flickered with fear. They're going to break the door, she whispered. Jace grabbed his tool bag and yanked open the hatch under the floor. A narrow maintenance tunnel stretched out beneath the workshop, dark and dusty. Lyra, get inside. Now. Her eyes widened. Where does it lead? Away from here, Jace answered quickly. Down to the water pipes. We can follow them to the east gate. The soldiers outside shouted again, louder this time. Final warning. Open the door. Lyra froze, her body trembling. Jace, they'll catch us. They always do. Jace crouched in front of her, cupping her face gently. Not this time. You've got me. For a moment, Lyra's glow softened like a gentle heartbeat. Then crash. Something heavy slammed into the door they were using a battering ram. Jace didn't hesitate. He grabbed Lyra's hand and pulled her into the tunnel. He slid the hatch shut above them, leaving the workshop behind just as the door shattered. Darkness swallowed them. Only Lyra's trembling glow gave the tunnel a faint, soft light. Jace whispered, Go slow. Stay quiet. The tunnel's echo. Lyra nodded and followed behind him on her hands and knees. The pipes hummed overhead, carrying water through the colony. Dust fell each time the soldiers stomped above them. Energy signature moving. A soldier shouted. Another voice replied, Track it. She's in the tunnels. Lyra gasped. Jace placed a finger on her lips. They only know the direction. Not the exact spot. Lyra tried to control her breathing. But fear pressed like a weight on her chest. They crawled deeper into the narrow tunnel until Jace found a vertical shaft. He climbed down first, then reached up to help Lyra, but halfway down, she slipped. Her hand glowed brightly from panic, and the shaft sensors blinked red. A loud alarm filled the tunnel. WHEEE, EP-WHEEE, P intruder detected. Jace clenched his teeth. Great. Just great. Lyra looked terrified. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. It's okay, Jace whispered. You're doing your best. But the alarm had already done its job. Metallic clanks echoed through the tunnels as small drones activated, their red lights slicing through the darkness like sharp knives. Jace. They're coming, Lyra whispered. Then we run. They reached a wider passage and sprinted through it. Jace kept Lyra close, guiding her around broken cables and leaking pipes. The air grew hotter as they neared the colony's old heating chambers. Behind them, the drones moved fast, hovering silently but flashing, bright red. One drone caught sight of Lyra's glow and fired a tracking beam. A red circle locked on her back. Jace cursed loudly, grabbed her wrist and pulled her behind a wall. The beam hit the metal instead, burning a scorched hole. Lyra's voice shook. They aren't here to capture me. They want to destroy me. Jace clenched his jaw. They don't understand what you are. Fear makes people violent. Another beam hissed past them. Lyra's hand glowed brighter each time she panicked. JJ's my glow. I can't control it. He pulled her close, pressing her hand to his chest. Then don't control it. Just focus on me. Look at me. Feel my voice. Lyra's eyes locked on his. Her glow began to settle. Just a little. But the drones were close, now too close. Jace dragged Lyra into another passage, pushing her forward until a faint light appeared ahead. That's the exit tunnel, he whispered. If we reach it, we can climb out near the east gate. But just before they reached it, a drone descended right in front of them, blocking the path. Its red lens blazed, unregistered energy being halt. Lyra froze. Jace pushed her behind him. Get away from her. The drone charged its weapon. Lyra gasped. Jace grabbed a metal pipe from the ground. The drone fired, Jace swung the pipe. The beam hit the pipe, blasting it out of his hands and throwing him against the wall. Lyra screamed. Her markings burst into bright blue, lighting the whole tunnel. The drone aimed at her now, but before it could fire again, Lyra lifted both hands instinctively. A wave of light exploded from her palms, not destructive, but powerful enough to slam the drone into the ceiling, frying its circuits instantly. The tunnel fell silent. Jace blinked in shock. "Lyra, did you just?" Lyra looked at her glowing hands, terrified. "I didn't mean to. It just happened. I can't control it." Jace stood up, wincing from the hit. "But you saved me." Lyra's breath caught. "I did," he nodded. "Yeah, you did." More drones buzzed in the distance. Jace grabbed her hand again. "We move. Now?" Lyra nodded. Her glow steadying not from fear, but from a new feeling. Cope, together. They ran toward the exit, pursued, hunted, surrounded by danger, but not giving up. For the first time in her life, Lyra wasn't running alone. The exit tunnel led into an abandoned storage bay on the edge of the colony. Weak yellow lights flickered overhead, painting the room in dusty shadows. Metal crates were stacked everywhere, some broken, some rusting, but they offered good cover. Jace and Lyra hurried inside, breathing hard. Lyra's glow was dim again, flickering like a frightened candle. She looked exhausted. Her body wasn't made for running this long. Jace knelt beside her. "You okay?" Lyra nodded weakly, though her trembling hands said otherwise. "I'm trying. But my power? It takes my strength." Jace gently placed his hand on her back. "You're doing more than anyone ever expected. You kept us alive." Before Lyra could answer, the sharp humming of drones echoed through the metal walls. They were close. Jace peeked between crates and saw shapes moving outside the bay, shadows of soldiers, their weapons glowing. More drones hovered above them like angry insects. "They're surrounding us," he whispered. Lyra's eyes widened. "Jace, we can't escape. They will catch us now." Shook his head firmly. "No, we're not giving up." He pulled her behind a tall crate as the bay doors clanged open. Armed soldiers stepped inside with heavy metal boots, their armor shining under the dim light. The drones flew in behind them, scanning every corner. A soldier shouted, "The energy being is inside. Find her." Lyra's breath hitched. "My glow. They can see it, Jace. It's giving me away." Jace quickly removed his jacket and wrapped it tightly around her, covering her arms and chest where the light was strongest. "Keep it dim," he whispered, "just for a little longer." But Lyra shook her head. "I can't hide it. It leaks out when I'm scared." Jace placed both hands on her cheeks, forcing her to look at him. "Then don't be scared." Lyra stared at him, confused. "How?" "They want to kill me." "Because they don't understand you," Jace said softly. "But I do. I know you're not a threat. I know you're more than what they said. You saved me once, and you can save yourself." Lyra felt something warm spread inside her chest. Not fear, not panic, something else. Before she could speak, a soldier turned the corner and spotted them. There, the human and the light source. Jace stood up instantly, shielding Lyra with his body. "Don't come closer," he warned. The soldier didn't listen. He lifted his weapon. Lyra screamed, "Jace." The weapon fired. Jace braced for the impact, but the blast never hit him. Instead, a bright blue shield burst from Lyra's body, forming a curved barrier in front of them. The energy blast struck the shield and dissolved like sparks hitting water. The soldiers stumbled back, shocked. What kind of creature is she?" Lyra stared at her own hands, glowing brighter than ever. I didn't mean to do that." Jace turned to her, amazed. "You protected us. But the soldiers regrouped quickly. All units, fire. Dozens of beams shot toward them at once. Lyra panicked. Jace, move. But Jace didn't move. He stood in front of her again, arms out, trying to shield her with his own body. Don't you dare hurt her, he shouted. Lyra's markings exploded with fierce blue light. A wave of energy erupted outward, not violent. Not deadly, but powerful enough to blast every soldier backward. The drones crashed into walls like broken toys. Weapons flew out of hands. The entire bay shook from the force. Silence followed. Jace turned around slowly. Lyra stood there, glowing from head to toe. The patterns on her skin flowed like living light. Her eyes shined with a new strength, not fear, but she looked terrified of herself. I didn't hurt them, did I? She asked with a shaking voice. Jace quickly checked the soldiers. They were alive, stunned, but unharmed. He returned to her with a small smile. No, you didn't hurt them. You only stopped them. Lyra stared at her hands. I used my power. But it didn't destroy anything. Jace nodded. You controlled it, Lyra. You saved us without harming anyone. Tears filled her eyes, but these weren't tears of fear. They were tears of relief. I'm not a curse. She whispered. No, Jace said firmly. You're a Lightborn, a protector. Your power is meant to save. But their moment didn't last long. A loud alarm echoed through the bay, followed by a new voice broadcasting from the colony speakers. Priority alert. The Lightborn girl is not to be killed. She is to be taken alive. Her family has arrived and demands her return. Lyra's face turned pale. My family. They're here. Jace clenched his fists. Then, this isn't over. Lyra's glow brightened not from fear, but from a new strength rising inside her. For the first time, she said softly, I don't want to run anymore. The air inside the storage bay grew colder as the loudspeakers continued to echo across the colony. The Lightborn girl must be returned to her family. Immediately. Lyra's glowing markings dimmed at the mention of her family. Memories of fear, shouting, punishment, and cold nights flashed through her mind. She wrapped her arms around herself as if trying to hold her. Hard in place, Jace stepped beside her. They're not here to protect you, he said in a low voice. They're here to control you. Lyra nodded slowly. I know. They always wanted to use my glow. Outside the bay, metal doors screeched open again. This time, the footsteps were heavier, slow, proud, and cruelly familiar to Lyra. Her alien family entered. Her father stood in front, tall with sharp silver markings across his skin. Her mother walked beside him, face cold and emotionless. Behind them, two older siblings carried binding cuffs designed to restrain Lightborn energy. Lyra stepped back instinctively. Her father's voice cut through the room like a blade. Lyra, you will return with us. Now. Jace positioned himself in front of her immediately. She's not going anywhere with you. Our mother's eyes narrowed. You speak for property that is not yours. Jace's anger rose. She's not property. Her father stepped closer, towering over Jace. You humans interfere too much. The girl is unstable. She is dangerous. She belongs with her own kind. Lyra's voice finally came out soft, shaking but brave. I don't belong with you. Her father didn't blink. You are Lightborn. Your power is our advantage. With your energy, we can rise above the colony, above the council, above everyone. Lyra felt her stomach twist. So you want me? Only to use me. Her mother answered coldly. You were only useful once your markings awakened. Jace clenched his fists. You abandoned her. threw her out like trash. Now you want her back because she has value. Her older brother raised the binding cuffs. Enough talking. Come, Lyra. Lyra stepped back again, shaking, but something inside her had changed since meeting Jace. She wasn't the same weak, abandoned girl lying in the cold. She wasn't the frightened child hiding her glow. She wasn't the cursed mistake they claimed she was. Jace turned to her. You don't have to run anymore. But you don't have to go to them either. The choice is yours. The choice something she had never been given in her entire life. Lyra's glow rose slowly, spreading from her hands to her arms, then across her whole body. Her father stepped back in surprise. What is this? Lyra took one deep breath, then stepped forward on her own. Her voice was steady for the first time. I am not your tool. Her siblings tightened their grip on the cuffs. Lyra continued, brighter now. I am not a curse. I am not a mistake. I am not your shame. Her glow intensified, lighting up the entire bay with a calm blue flame. I am Lightborn. Her family shielded their eyes from the brightness. But Lyra didn't stop, and I choose my own path. Her father snarled. You dare speak against your blood. Lyra shook her head. No, I dare speak for myself. A wave of soft blue light spread from her feet, rolling gently across the floor like a warm wind. It didn't harm anyone, it simply pushed her family backward. Like a firm barrier made of air and light, they stumbled. Shocked, JSC stood behind her, watching with quiet pride. Lyra turned to him. Her voice softened. Thank you for showing me I could be something more. Her father tried to step forward again, but the light stopped him. You cannot run from us forever, he warned. Lyra's glow steadied. I'm not running anymore. The colony commander arrived moments later with a group of guards. He glanced at Lyra, then at her family. What's going on here? Lyra stood tall. I'm not going with them. They abandoned me. They tried to use me. I want protection. And I want freedom. The commander nodded slowly. Under colony law, no one can claim ownership of a sentient being, Lightborn or not. He turned to her family. You will leave her now. Her father growled, but knew he had lost. He turned away. Her mother glared. Her siblings whispered angry words, but none of it mattered. Lyra's light only grew brighter with every step. They took away from her. Jace placed a gentle hand on her back. So, what now? Lyra looked at him with a small, hopeful smile. I want a home, a place where I can learn who I am. Jace nodded. You can stay with me, if you want. Her glow warmed. I want that, she said softly, more than anything. The bay lights flickered once more, but not from danger. From relief, Lyra wasn't alone anymore. She wasn't unwanted. She wasn't cursed. She wasn't property. She had a new beginning, a new home, a new family, and a human who showed her what it meant to be cared for.